And we're live. Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon. Gojatron says, fancy intro. Thank you very much. Apologies for being late, guys. I was having an absolute blast over on the Laya Convoy Reviews YouTube channel, having a chat about the state of modern toy collecting with Michael from Retro Blasting and Laya Convoy. If you weren't watching that stream, definitely go back and take a look after this. I'm going to go back and kind of watch the end of it that I missed. I had to tap out early to come across here. So, excuse me, my stomach's making some weird noises. Brian Dillingham, thank you very much for the super chat. For Black Series or a new battery, take your pick. Thank you very much. Is that a new battery for my MacBook? Possibly. I ordered one yesterday. And Retro Blasting says, I'm here, but not really. I've clicked like. Everyone click that like button. So today I want to talk to you guys about Action Force International Heroes and specifically 1987 Action Force International Heroes. And I'm probably going to have to catch a few of you up on this because it's another chapter in the British history of Action Force. I don't know what just made. Did anyone hear that noise? I've got another laptop over there and it made a noise. Damn. Salvador, thank you very much for the super chat. It says, I'm watching both streams concurrently. It's a rare talent contributing to Black Series or Beer Fund. Well, I have plenty of beer in the fridge, so you know what? I need to get myself another one of those Mandalorian stormtroopers. I believe it wasn't a donation to the channel, but I believe I opened it on last week's live stream. That is hands down the best Black Series, and bear in mind I haven't got a vast collection. I've only been into it for about a year. That is hands down the best Star Wars 6-inch Black Series figure I've come across, is the Remnant Stormtrooper from The Mandalorian, which fortunately they didn't make him look all dirty. I think it's supposed to be from that episode where Boba Fett and when the Dark Troopers come down and capture Baby Yoda or Grogu, the Stormtroopers who were in that episode. Jody, thank you for the super chat. It says 2 consecutive streams with Tony. What a treat today. It was a real treat for me actually to spend a bit of time chatting with Thomas and Michael. So it was good. The chat's going past fast today. So Action Force International Heroes, for those of you who did not grow up in Britain and are not aware, let me give you some context. So if you're watching this stream, you've most likely watched my other Action Force videos. So you know that in 1982, the Palitoy company decided to shrink Action Man down to the Star Wars scale to try and compete with this smaller, cheaper brand of toys that was available in toy stores. So Action Man got shrunk down. Then in 83, they introduced a backstory in the Battle Action Force comics. We got the teams, we got Z-Force, SAS, Q-Force, Space Force, all of that kind of stuff. Now, by the time, I'm going to have to put up some pictures here, excuse me. By the time the Palitoy Design Department was closed down in 1984, so the Palitoy Design Department was closed in late 1984. Palitoy was still releasing Action Force product the following year, but it simply became a rebranded G.I. Joe toy line. So I'm just going to share screen now. This is from the Palitoy's 1985 catalog, and you can see here the entire Action Force figure range are G.I. Joe figures that were just brought over. The tooling was brought over, and this is what we were getting in the UK. In addition to that, these G.I. Joe figures were still being sold Need to apologies. I'm trying to still getting used to StreamYard a little bit. So these G.I. Joe figures were still sold on the traditional style Action Force card backs that we were used to from 82 to 84 with that yellow Action Force logo. Now, I'm struggling with StreamYard this morning. So we got 4 years of Palitoys Action Force in the UK. First year being Mini Action Man, the next 2 years kind of being all the teams, and then the third year being pretty much rebranded G.I. Joe product, with a couple of exceptions, and they were vehicles such as the Q-Force Sea Lion and the Z-Force ATC and the Robo Skull were continuing to be sold in the UK. And then beyond 1985, Action Force died a death. And in 1986 in the UK, there was no Action Force product available on the market. 1986, it was all gone. I'm trying to think what I was into in 1986 as a kid. I know I was into A-Team one year, and whether that was the year of A-Team or not, I've kind of got a feeling it wasn't. I think A-Team was a little bit earlier. It could have been Coleco's Rambo. I don't know. But we had 12 months in British toy stores of no Action Force. So when Action Force International Heroes, which was produced by Hasbro, which is basically, as you can see here, every product on the table here is from it's obviously not the whole range. Everything here is from 1987. When it was reintroduced, I clearly remember going into a toy store and seeing the card backs for the first time. And this example here is from the Televiper action figure. George Aitken kindly sent me this. You can see it is almost identical to the G.I. Joe card back, obviously with a different logo. This has got Action Force and then Cobra the Enemy, whereas the good guys, the Action Force, it was said Action Force International Heroes. Boba Hicks, thank you for the super chat. He says, you want some brand confusion, Tony? Here in Ireland, we had G.I. Joe International Heroes. Joe Force. Wow. That's getting really confusing now, yeah. So I clearly remember going into a toy store in early 1987 with my mother and seeing the whole new range. There was 20 carded figures available in 1987. And I was captivated by the dynamic art on the card backs. And given that it was so different to the previous Action Force packaging style, and the fact that we had a 12-month period where there was no Action Force product on toy shelves, I thought this was an entirely disconnected brand. And I can remember sitting in that toy store and I was allowed to pick one action figure. I probably contemplated this for a really, really long time before finally deciding to go with Barbecue. I picked up, and I was actually holding Snake Eyes version 2 and Barbecue. I think I was trying to decide between the two, but having never read any of the comics at that stage or seen the cartoons and not knowing much about the characters, I went with Barbecue because I just thought he was an awesome looking action figure. Scuba Pete, thanks for the super chat. He says, full Joe, or is it Yo Force? Full Force, Yo Joe, full Joe, Yo Force. I don't know. I'm tie myself up in knots here. Yeah, Scuba Pete. No chatting and driving, my man. I'm going to show you. I've got a photo here somewhere. At least I thought I did. Yep, I do. I'm just going to share another photo here. So this is an example of an Action Force International Heroes card back. One of my favorite characters, one of my favorite action figures from the line. And So this is Warrant Officer Flint, who when he was sold in the UK, there was a modification to the file card on the back. They changed the name slightly and he became an English character, not American. I love that card back though. So I became completely obsessed. 1987, my entire year revolt, and into 1988 as well. But 1987, I became literally obsessed with Action Force International Heroes because it was further bolstered by the introduction of the Action Force Weekly comic. I don't know how I first became aware of the comic, whether I saw it in a newsagent's or my memory tells me that it was advertised on British television, this new comic, but I've never been able to find a copy of that advert commercial, the TV commercial, ever since. So I'm not sure. But the first issue was a bonus where it was packed in. You got issue 2 for free, and it ran for 50 issues over a 49-week period. And issue 2 just happens to be one of my favorite comic covers of all time. So issue 1 came with issue 2, where you've got Snake Eyes and Scarlet hunting or chasing a cobra eel through the London Underground. This comic was amazing, and after getting the first 2 issues, my parents very quickly kind of added it to like the newspaper delivery order we would get at the house on a weekend. So it was exciting. You know, I think it was Saturday mornings it would normally be delivered, but getting my latest issue of Action Force Weekly on a Saturday morning with the newspaper, I would pour through all the stories, and throughout that week I would reread that particular issue several times over. George Aitken says he's got about 30 issues somewhere. Yeah, I picked up a big lot of these recently off of a Facebook group, and they're not in any kind of order. I've certainly got the first few issues, but I picked up around 30 of the about 26 of the 50 odd issues. Issue 3 is a great cover as well. It's just got Flint and saying Action Force needs you. Yeah, so I never understood that, or I just never made the connection that this was some way related to the original Palitoy Action Force line. And just, it was a whole new world, you know, backed up by an amazing comic. And I feverishly went out and collected all the action figures that year. There was 20 carded figures available. Obviously, plus you had vehicle drivers. Zartan and the Swamp Skier came out that year. I had him. I had the Ore Striker and Crankcase. I had the Cobra Stinger with the Stinger driver. I had the Cobra Hydrofoil with, what was the pilot's name of the Hydrofoil? Lampreys. I didn't have the Snowcat as a child, but that came out in 85. You also got the Dragonfly helicopter, which I didn't have as a child. The Mauler tank, which I didn't have as a child. The tactical battle platform, which I didn't get, but my cousin Shane got. You also had the missile defense system, and well, you can see there. So it's got the Action Force sticker on the side. So it's exactly the same toy as what was available in the States for the G.I. Joe line. They would just change the stickers. I had the Cobra Ferret was available. Judy says, I don't know why, but I love the design of the Cobra Bunker. So do I, man. I had both these 2 mini play sets when I was a child. These are 2 1987 sets. I always wanted the tactical battle platform, but as I said, my cousin Shane got that and I got the Hydrofoil. I think when our parents and relatives were buying these things for us for birthdays and Christmases, they knew that we would play Action Force together quite a lot. So it made sense to give one of us the Hydrofoil and the other person the tactical battle platform. But I always would have preferred the tactical battle platform, I think. Yeah, but I particularly love these sets. Jody, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Just cause. particularly Checkpoint Alpha, which George Aitken very kindly donated to the channel. I just need to find a replacement antenna for it. I absolutely adored that playset. It was so small, but it created a type of enjoyable environment where, you know, a Cobra Eel or a Cobra Trooper could try and sneak in past the checkpoint, and all these different play scenarios became options for you. A lot of people talking about the Robo Skull here. Phil Chadwick says, I think the Robo Skull goes in the top 5 vehicles of any toy line. And I would agree. It's probably more up in the top 3 for myself for action figure vehicles, but absolutely. James Brewster brings up a good point. He says, I bet Evil Knievel could jump that bunker and some other Action Force sets. Well, yeah, he could. And I think I was chatting yesterday with, I did a trial run of the live stream yesterday with the patrons, and I think it was Scuba Pete said, oh, maybe he could jump the Millennium Falcon. Well, for those of you who saw that video, I did not want to use toys that I would, you know, there was always a risk that a toy was going to get broken. But there's no way I would have Evil Knievel jump over Action Force play sets like this, where you could, you know, snap off the surveillance camera or something like that. Would never do it with the Millennium Falcon. I don't think the landing gear would hold up to it. So if Evil Knievel just touched it, it would crumple to the ground. Yeah, I was fairly comfortable. You'll notice that Snake Mountain, I'm not going to put the plug the chains into the front of the play set, you know, the chains and shackles, because Evil Knievel hits those and that's it. I've got a broken play set. So I had to be particular. But if anyone thinks they're going to throw some ideas out there and I'm going to sit down tomorrow and go and make another Evil Knievel video just jumping something different, that's probably not going to happen. It was a bit of a one-off video, something very different for the channel, which I really, really enjoyed. So, yeah. Salvador says, Robo Skull, Skeletron, Kraken, Jackal, and Red Laser are definitely going to be something I need on my collection. They're too cool. Yes, they are. They really are. And the next fully produced video that I have planned will see a return of the Red Jackal. He's going to make an appearance in that video. George Aitken says, I managed to collect all the first year stuff, never got the Havoc or the Command Center. I think the Havoc was the second year, George. That was 1988. I did some research on this yesterday on the Blood for the Baron website to try and remember what was 1988, what was 1987. And in fact, I did a whole video about the Havoc, and that's the toy I wanted, and it wasn't available, so I ended up getting Sergeant Sawdust Triple T and was disappointed and went back and exchanged them. Fun memories, man. T. Gruffo, good question. Who has the rights for Robo Skull? I would imagine so that there's a difference between the rights to a name and the copyright of a design. So although the Action Force rights to the name have been relinquished by Hasbro and now are owned by Valaverse, the individual copyright for all the characters, I believe, is still owned by Hasbro. So that's right, Kieran Ball. Michael French was Skeletor and Rambo. And something I'd like to mention in that Evil Knievel video as well is that I asked Michael to voice Skeletor for me. I kind of told him the concept of the video, and he went away and recorded these clips without ever seeing the video. I never asked him to provide some audio clips for Sylvester Stallone, and I had already filmed the video. So when I got those clips, it was just a accidentally perfectly placed moment to put that quote in the video when obviously Evel Knievel crashes into the stand and the Rambo figure is the only figure that falls backwards. It's almost as though Michael was psychic there. Couldn't have been more perfectly placed. And all I had to do was film a quick cutaway shot to Rambo on the floor looking up at Skeletor in the tower. So then your nightmares come true. Oh, wrong comment, sorry. Tony, if you're afraid to play with your toys, stop collecting. That video clearly shows I'm not afraid to play with my toys. There's a big difference between playing with your toys and launching a high-speed Evel Knievel chopper bike into your vintage Millennium Falcon. Anyway, I decide when I stop collecting. I hope you're making a joke, because I don't like when people try and tell me what to do. Gojatron, thank you very much for the super chat. Why were they international heroes? Were the characters from US and UK, any other countries? Europe, there were American characters in it, in the storyline, in the mythology, other European characters. The main reason, and this goes all the way back to the 60s, when the original 12-inch 60s G.I. Joe was introduced into the British market, they didn't want to use the name G.I. Joe because it was an American name, so they changed it to Action Man. And then I think when Action Man went small and became Action Force, the name was more well-known than G.I. Joe would have been a very hard sell even in 1987. The name, I'm saying, not the toys. But by calling it Action Force International Heroes, you know, the name had some recognition, even though I never saw a connection between the two lines. But there you go. That was perhaps just me. What I want to share with you guys very quickly is a 1987 British toy commercial for the Action Force toy line. So let's take a quick look.
Action Force is a highly trained rapid deployment force fighting Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization.
Action Force!
Cobra Bang!
But they've been spotted by Flint, Dusty, and Barbecue.
Man the air defense system!
Fighting for freedom over land and air!
That'll teach Cobra some manners! Go, go!
Cobra Pang, Action Force checkpoint and air defense system, figures sold separately.
Action Force!
Pretty cool advert, eh? Pretty cool commercial. I really enjoyed that. Adam Southwood said he still remembers all the words to the song on the advert. Yeah, and something else that I really remember too. I'm going to have, apologies, share another photo with you guys. And that is, when I can find it, inside many of the Action Force weekly comics, they would do print advertisements for the toy line. And just looking at this here, you've got the Cobra Water Moccasin, obviously the Dragonfly, and then Flint and Lady J featured there. And I remember when I started reading this comic, I had Barbecue first. I don't remember who my second figure was, but probably waiting for my birthday, I would have only had a couple of action figures, no vehicles, anything like that. And I would pore over print ads like this, you know, writing down wish lists of which vehicle I wanted for Christmas and things like that. And birthdays, Christmases, all that stuff. What did everyone think of that commercial? In the UK, they filmed them quite differently to the way that G.I. Joe adverts were filmed in the States and aired in the States. So, and I think I saw George Aitken mention before that Sergeant Slaughter, who obviously was a famous, or certainly in America anyway, was a famous wrestling character in the States. He really wasn't very well known in the UK. So when he was introduced to Action Force, the company, or whether it was British child censorship or whatever it was, did not like the name Sergeant Slaughter. So Hasbro were forced to change the name to Sergeant Slammer. And obviously the catchphrase Yo Joe as well in the cartoons became Full Force. This presented somewhat of a problem for the creators of the cartoons, because they couldn't just bring the American cartoon over here and air it. They would have to dub over every time Sergeant Slaughter's name was mentioned. So I'd like to share with you a couple of clips now where you'll see some quite awkward overdubbing, changing the name Sergeant Slaughter to Sergeant Slammer in UK cartoons.
Make it interesting. That's Sergeant Slammer. It was Sergeant Slammer. And the truth is, we deserve to lose. Wait a minute, Slammer. The Force have gotten careless and sloppy. Why don't you stick around and train them?
Why? You've already got the best men available.
No, I want you to stay and whip them into shape.
Pretty funny, eh? Pretty much. They could never get a voice actor to get it quite right. George Aiken says here he loves all the Cobra Army builders like the Eels, Snow Serpents, and Crimson Guards. So do I, George. I've got the Cobra Eel right here. I've got the Snow Serpent up there. I have a couple of those in the collection, and I very, very recently picked up the Crimson Guard. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to complete the set of 20 figures from 1987, because when I was a child, I only managed to get 19 of the 20 figures that were available on single figure card backs. I'm not including vehicle drivers and that kind of thing. I was able to collect 19 of the 20 figures when I was a kid. The one figure I couldn't get was Storm Shadow version 1. I'm currently, and I'm very close to getting there. You know, you would have seen last week's live stream. I got Ripper. He was part of the 1987 line. I've got a couple more down here. We've got Footloose there. I've almost completed the set of 20. And once I complete that, I want to do a video about Action Force International Heroes completing the 1987 figure collection. So Yojo Banjo says Eels and Snow Serpents are superb figures. Yes, they are. One thing I like about the Snow Serpents is just the amount of accessories that they come with, and the Cobra Eels are just super cool. Reinforced by the fact that they're on one of my favorite comic covers of all time. So Keith Holmesley. Yeah, he says Footloose's real name has to be Kevin Bacon. I just need to check something now. Apologies, guys. I'm just checking something here. I'm checking tracking for a postage item. No, it's not delivered yet. I'll keep the surprise for later. Chris Mewa from Chasing 80s Toys, who's the guy who gave me the idea for Evil Jumping Snake Mountain. So love how good your collection looks, Tony. It's in great condition at Analog Toys. Thank you very much, Chris. Yeah, I'm although I've almost completed the collection, one thing I'm not going to have is the bipod for Dusty. I'm pretty sure I can still make the video without that. But another thing I'm completing is Buzzer's missing his I don't even know what you call it. He came like with a handle, a chain, and a curved bladed type weapon. I've got that accessory on the way, but I don't imagine I'm going to get Dusty's bipod by the time I make this Action Force International Heroes video that I have planned. Black Chandelier Mirage. What is the closest modern take on Action Force? Personally, it would be Full Metal Panic, albeit it might be a bit of a stretch. Kaldari is the modern Robo Skull. Well, for me, the closest modern take is the new modern interpretation of Action Force being done by Valaverse. So. George Aitken says, made a point of collecting 10 of each of the Cobra Army builders in 1987. Mum gave a lot of them to the neighbours' boys. That's a shame that you couldn't keep those. But yeah, I always wanted the Cobra Trooper. I always wanted a few of those, even just 2 or 3. I only ever had the one. The one figure that I had 2 of was the Cobra Televiper, which is down there. Obviously, that's the card back that George sent me. Another difference here as well is instead of flag points on the back, we used to get action points. So they removed the American flag and you had like a red, white, and blue kind of starred action point, which you would collect up to be able to send away for the mail-away exclusive Hooded Cobra Commander action figure. And I remember sending away for this and gratefully receiving it in the mail when I was a child. Stiff Kittens Review says the Night Attack Jeep was there first, along with Zartan. The Cobra Night Attack Jeep, or the Stinger, is one of my all-time favorite vehicles in this range because I had so much fun with it as a child. I really loved the whole concept of Zartan. He was a very exciting figure, and I enjoyed the figure. But that Swamp Skier was a piece of crap, man. It didn't last 2 seconds. It had so many fragile parts. Yeah, I didn't. I very, very quickly broke the Swamp Skier and just, it was sitting in the bottom of the toy box, and I didn't play with it very often. King Eric, the greatest of all, says, how many action points were needed in order to get the figure? I'm not sure off the top of my head, King Eric. I do have... I've seen an advert somewhere that tells you. I'm thinking it was around 5, but I don't know for certain. So not all of the vehicles on this table are not. In fact, the 3 kind of mini play sets I've got, these are all Action Force with the right stickers on them. The Snowcat and the Ore Striker here are G.I. Joe versions. I'm not too concerned about getting them with Action Force logos on them. As long as I've got a nice minty example of the toy, I don't need to have it with G.I. Joe stickers and with Action Force stickers. So George Aitken says 5, and I think he's responding to King Eric that, 5 action points is what you needed to get the Hooded Cobra Commander mail-away figure, which I believe in the International Heroes range was the first Cobra Commander you could get. The original sort of mirrored face Cobra Commander would have come out in the 85 line. And as I said, there was such a disconnect between the two that when I was a kid collecting these, I never realized that was kind of part of the same mythology. Stiff Kitten says, never understood or liked Hooded Cobra Commander. Would be so easy to take him out. I have a fondness for Hooded Cobra Commander because it was the first Cobra Commander action figure that I had when I was a child, and being that mail-away exclusive just made it kind of all that more special. You had to be a dedicated Action Force fan to collect up the action points and send away for it. Jody, thank you very much for the super chat. He says, Just Cause Mark II. We do have some couple of mystery boxes here, or packages, whatever you call it. We'll do those a little bit later in the show. What else have I got down here? We have, this is a figure I never particularly liked, Airtight. But, he's part of the 1987 range, so I had to get him out on the table as well. The Cobra Ferret. I had the Cobra Ferret when I was a child. That was a pretty cool mini vehicle as well. I would really like to complete the entire 1987 range. And I was looking to try and do that before I made the video. But I think I'm going to make the video specifically around the mainly around me finally, after 34 odd years, finally completing those set of action figures from that year. As I said, I got 19 of the 20 back in 1987, and the thought that there was one elusive figure that I never got has never escaped me, and I want to kind of finish that quest. But yeah, I would like to collect the whole 1987 range, but if I was to do that, you'd be waiting a long time for the video, because to get a complete mauler is quite difficult, very expensive. Hydrofoil, not quite so much, and I would like to replace that because I had it as a child, but you know, I need to get a dragonfly, and there's a lot of things in the 1987 range that I don't have in the collection. George Aiken says, what am I missing? Yeah, well, that's pretty much, yeah, so the hydrofoil, the mauler MBT, the dragonfly, that might be the water moccasin, that might be about it, I think. From 1987 anyway. Lots of holes in the 88 line, but I'm not too concerned about that. It was 1987 was my favorite year of this particular toy line. So Daniel Dorian says, hey Tony, has your collection got any bigger lately, vintage anyways? Yes, it's always getting bigger. Always, there's always at the moment I'm on a bit of a spree trying to acquire some more of this particular line. Pretty much for the last kind of 18 months it's all been Action Force. You know, I've did the 83, 84, kind of completed those 2 years, then I went back to 82, completed that year. Now I'm trying to do 87. I'm not really looking to collect the 1985 Action Force Palatoy line, because I must have gotten into something else when I was a kid. I was not into the 1985 range of Action Force. I didn't have any of it whatsoever. What else am I collecting at the moment? There's always stuff turning up in the mail, man. Always. Bjorn's got a good question here. What happened to your original figures from childhood? Unfortunately, when I was 11, well, not unfortunately, moving to Australia was not unfortunate. But when I moved from England to Australia in 1988, I was 11 years old. And when you move from one side of the world to the other, you know, from one hemisphere to another, it's costs your parents a lot of money to ship your stuff over there. So we had to downsize a lot of things, and I was told that I had to sell all my toys at a garage sale. I did manage to keep most of my Action Man stuff, and I believe some of the Action Force stuff came with me to Australia, but it then got, when I was in my early teens, my sister, who was 2 years younger, got like her first boyfriend, and he was into Action Force. So my toys, kind of without my permission, got lent to him, the few that I had left, and they never ever got returned. I have to look him up on Facebook now and hunt him down and see if he's still got them. Looks like Jody's had to go, so see you later, Jody. Thanks for stopping by. Tim Hayes says, sorry I had to sell a lot of your toys, Tony. It's all right, you know, Tim, because I think I really was a toy kid. I was really, really into toys. A lot of different toy lines that I grew up with in the 80s. And I think being so into them and then losing them at the age of 11, partly of what turned me into a toy collector. That, along with the fact that my dad's a toy collector as well. So, yeah, I've spent a long time kind of reacquiring stuff that I had as a child and have since, you know, has since been lost. But I also like to acquire stuff that I wanted when I was a kid and never had. So the two different types of things I like to collect are replacing lost toys, but then also hunting down those toys that I pined after when I was a child and never actually ended up acquiring. So GeForce Racing 20 says, I was so excited when I got Tomax and Zaymot. I've got Tomax and Zaymot, and the original card back upstairs, and I had them as a kid. I think they came out the following year in '88. A lot of people seem to like the Crimson Twins. I was never a fan of them. I think maybe I just felt ripped off that it was the first time that I remember anyway that you could get a 2-pack of action figures, and it would have made sense to me to have had two Crimson Guard action like army builders in a 2-pack, not the Crimson. So I ended up with the 2 Crimson Guard commanders and only commanding 1 Crimson Guard. It's a very top-heavy organization. Which King Eric the Greatest of All says, "What kind of toys does your dad collect?" My dad collects lead soldier or die-cast metal model soldiers, so like W. Britain's type things, particularly Zulu War stuff. And since I mentioned Zulu War, today is the anniversary of the Battle of Rorke's Drift. It was fought on January 22nd, 23rd, 1879. Don't shoot me if I got that wrong. Who can tell me when the Battle of Rorke's Drift was? Chris Mewa says, "The Crimson Twins reminded me of the 2 brothers in the Roger Moore Bond movie where they were in Germany at that circus." Yeah. Jeff Flood says, yeah. So the Battle of Rorke's Drift. Keith Knight says 1879, so it's the 142nd anniversary of the Battle of Rorke's Drift. Today, there you go. Yeah. So my dad is very, very much into Zulu War history. He's got a massive library of books on the subject, and he collects die-cast metal or painted metal miniatures, I think is what they call them. But not just the W. Britain's brand of lead soldiers. He collects other brands as well. But his kind of favourite era of soldiers to collect is from the Zulu War period. Both Islandwana, Rorke's Drift, all that kind of stuff. Antonio's here, and one of the mystery boxes is from Antonio. So Antonio, good to see you. Chris Moves corrected. He's talking about Octopussy, yeah. Keith Knight says, "Patrols come back. Reports action force to the southwest. Thousands of them." What a great movie. I'm going to have to rewatch that. King Out the Greatest of All says, "I'm assuming your dad likes the Zulu and Zulu Dawn movies." Yeah, I think for my dad, it was probably seeing the original Zulu movie in a movie theater. I can't remember when that movie came out, but he saw that in a movie theater, and that was his experience watching that film. Was much like my first experience seeing Star Wars. Something that stayed with him the rest of his life. He's also got like the whole. There was a TV miniseries about Shaka Zulu. All that stuff. He's got it all. Collector's editions of the different ones and DVDs, Blu-rays. He's got several copies of the same films. He's kind of that much into it. Phil Chadwick says Michael Caine almost got fired from that film on his first day because the producer thought he wasn't doing anything. There's a lot of interesting history, a lot of interesting backstory to the production of that film. Very, 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 very fascinating film production history there. Keith Knight says he has a VHS of Zulu Dawn outtakes. It is absolutely hilarious. That I'd like to see, yeah. Vintage Toy Rush said Zulu was my dad's favorite movie. It's one of my favorite movies. It's that movie that it was as though for me sitting down with my son and getting him to watch Star Wars for the first time, the original Star Wars. My dad had that same experience with me when I was young, sitting down with me for the first time and say, "Hey, watch this movie Zulu," and I really enjoyed it, and I think he was very, very pleased by that. One of his favorite films and most rewatchable films, that I would have watched probably more than 20 years after it first came out, and I really enjoyed it as well. Scuba Pete says, let's face it, Tomax and Zaymod are a-holes. I completely agree. Keith Knight, I wasn't aware of that. Michael Caine actually went for the role of Hook. And yeah, you would think, with his where he came from in London and his kind of accent, and at the time, he was not he's not the person who immediately springs to mind to play a well-to-do toffee officer. I can see from his perspective why he perhaps wanted to play the role of Hook. But I think he did amazing in that role as Bromhead. So, and here we are. We've gone from Action Force International Heroes now to Zulu. So, anyway, we're going to start clearing the table and get to the mystery boxes, I suppose. It's very hard when you do a table setup like this with so many small figures. I had to make sure they're all on stands because I was worried I was going to knock them over. But when it comes time to clear the table, there's lots of little things you've got to move and not too much room to put everything. So Shipwreck I already had in the collection but was missing his accessories. So I've recently I've been hunting around for his accessories for ages, and that ended up being easy to just buy a complete figure. What's George Atkins says part 2 of the flag arrived yet? No, George, I still only have one piece to the USSS flag. Andy OC, got to buy a new Dusty as mine is falling apart. The O-ring issue again. I recommend just replacing the O-ring, Andy. Don't go and buy another Dusty. Just replace the O-ring. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's plenty of videos around on YouTube that show you how to do it. Might leave Flint and Lady J over there. Retro Blasting says, click the like button. Yeah, thank you very much. Everyone hit the like button. I actually, when I'm in the StreamYard thing, I actually can't tell how many people have liked the video. It shows me how many people are watching and how long I've been going for and all that stuff, but it doesn't tell me how many likes we got. So hopefully it just went up a little bit. Okay. Now this first parcel, I'm going to have to move this microphone. This first parcel, I have absolutely no idea. It's come from Poppywood Art from here in Western Australia. I have absolutely no idea if this is even a mystery parcel for the channel, but it's definitely not something I've ordered. So I'm a bit confused about this one. Ah, okay. I'm not going to read the note just yet. So, Poppywood Art is an organisation supporting Australian and homeless veterans. Got the business card there, and this is a pen. Oh wow. Man, that is super cool. That pen. So it's the tip of the tail was shaped like a rimless NATO round. This is a beautiful pen, man. There is a kind of sniper rifle, small sniper rifle in metal on there, which is like for the pocket clip. But the best thing is to get the nib of the pen to come out. You've got like a bolt action type lever here that locks in like so. That's awesome. And the note inside says, "Hi, this pen is sent to you by Andrew Timms of Poppywood Art, on behalf of Andy Culver, a close friend that I served with. Please check out Poppywood Art on Facebook to support Australian homeless vets and Buddy Up Australia, which is, of course, a cause that am incredibly passionate about, supporting homeless vets, anything to support our veterans, guys. So first of all, thank you very much. This was a stunning surprise. So thanks to Andrew Timms and Andy Culver for this incredible gift. But yeah, everyone take a look at Poppywood Art. What I'll do, I'm going to post something on social media after this live stream as well, with a link to their Facebook page, and I'll see if they have a website or something like that. Got a beautiful like felt case for the pen as well. That's amazing. I was really confused about this parcel. I had absolutely no idea, but it makes sense because Andy Culver is one of the other mystery boxes here is from him. So Salvador says, "Good news, Tony." So Salvador has sent me a package of something. It's departed the US according to tracking. Shouldn't be much longer now. Yeah, have a chat to Scuba Pete about sending me parcels from the States and how long it can take sometimes. Sometimes it's not too bad. Other times it's bad. So this one here is from Antonio Viscodis. I want to make sure I don't show his address on screen. Let me just pull this out. How do you get into this one? Here we go. Damn, this is not easy to open, this box. Oh, I'm getting there, folks. Okay. Oh, wow. Man. He sent me a vintage Recondo. And this is perfect because that last live stream where we got the Checkpoint Alpha from George Aitken. George sent me the rare 1985 Silent Attack canoe from the Action Force range, which was piloted by Recondo. I have a Recondo figure in the collection, but he's in poor condition and he's missing his rifle. And this one is perfect. Look at that. And I love this action figure as well. Recondo is such a cool figure. Thank you very much, Antonio. And we also have, oh, there's a letter at the bottom. I probably should have read that first. I've opened it upside down, haven't I? It says, "Hi, Tony. Happy New Year. I hope this package finds you and your family well. I found these figures and immediately thought of you. I did not see either one as part of your 2020 collection review video, so I thought they would make a good addition. Both of these figures were part of the crossover Action Force line from G.I. Joe. Even though these are G.I. Joe figures, they could just as easily be Action Force. Anyway, I hope you like them, and I hope you can read my chicken scratch handwriting. All the best, Antonio Viscodis." Yes, I can read your handwriting. Some of the letters I've got, the handwriting's been a lot more difficult to read. But thank you very much. I particularly like Recondo because the style of hat, you know, it's kind of it's almost Australian looking, even though I know the character was the character Australian? No. And we have here Ripcord. A complete Ripcord with his parachute pack, his helmet, his rifle, and again, very, very nice. I may need to do an O-ring swap with this one, but that's easily done. Yes, George Aitken, I just need the paddle for the canoe, as well as some replacement stickers, and I'm struggling to find a copy of the of those stickers online where I can reprint them. Recondo was Australian SAS in the International Action Force. Okay, yeah, it's in the Action Force International line. He was Australian SAS. Recondo was. Oh, he's just become one of my favourite figures now. How did I not know that? Can't believe I didn't know that. Okay, and then we've got a very heavy box here from Andy Culver. Andy Culver is an Australian ex-serviceman. He was in the Australian Army, spent a long time in the police service, and is also a very supportive patron of the channel. So, and I think he said he was going to jump into the live stream today. Is Andy Culver here? I don't know if his handle on there's different. This is one of those boxes I'm not quite sure how to open. Yes, and Antonio said, glad those will add to your collection. They really, Antonio, literally over the last week or so, ever since George sent me the brown canoe, I've been hunting around on eBay for a nice, a good quality Recondo action figure, complete with accessories. So you have actually not just filled a gap, but filled a gap. Something. There's a nice smell coming out of this box. We have peanuts. Okay, here we go. This says, not your usual gift box, but here are a few things that you hopefully like and might find useful, which are a few items that the wife and I are putting out as a side hobby. A couple of scented candles, Batman and Joker. Oh, I might not read the rest of this just yet. I'm gonna come back to that. She's got business cards here for furandflame.bigcartel.com. Oh, it's a fridge magnet and a business card. Retro manga and anime inspired candles, soaps, magnets, and wow. So we've got business cards, stickers, fridge magnets, and this box smells really nice. You know, one day YouTube will have a feature where you can smell the live stream as well. On a day like this, it would be good. The Full Force podcast, my buddy Chris has jumped on and said, hello, mate. My favourite era of Action Force for reals. Yeah, with me too, Chris. 1987 Action Force International Heroes. Oh, man, look at this. They have a purple candle, a beautiful smelling candle, shaped like Snake Mountain. That's incredible. Whoa. Oh, peanuts are going to go everywhere. have another Snake Mountain. So we've got like a pink and a purple Snake Mountain. It just smells so good in this room. Castle Grayskull. And the sculpting on these candles is incredible. This is awesome. This looks a bit different. What's this? Whoa. Look at that. It's a Joker head. Damn. That's impressive. How well can you guys see that on the screen? Michael McKelly said, what do they smell like? They just smell nice. I'm not an expert on different scents. I can't tell you. Here we have, let me just read this business card again. So this is candles, soaps, and magnets. So I think maybe the Joker there is a soap because I don't see a wick coming out of it. Oh, and fridge magnets now. A Castle Grayskull fridge magnet. How awesome is this? It smells like bubble gum in here is what it smells like to me. Have a Snake Mountain. You see he's got a couple of magnets there, so you can have it as a fridge magnet. Yes, Chris, these are very cool. Very cool. And there's a lot of stuff in this box. Nice. To go with Joker, we have Batman. Blueberry flavor, maybe. This is, looks like another Castle Grayskull. It's a Castle Grayskull candle. So I think these ones here might be soaps. That one's a candle because of the wick in the top. Not that I'm actually going to light these candles and melt away this beautiful sculpting, but we've got the Castle Grayskull candle. Dude, Andy, thank you very much, man. I want these peanuts to go in. Holy crap. I was not expecting this. Clocketeer 75. Is that you, Andy? What in the... It's the G.I. Joe Classifieds Arctic Mission Storm Shadow. Wow. So between... So the retail release Snake Eyes was donated to the channel. My brother bought me Destro for Christmas. And now we've got the Arctic Mission Storm Shadow. I'm not collecting G.I. Joe Classifieds, but this figure in person actually looks really cool. And since I've got snake eyes, you've got to have Storm Shadow, haven't you? Andy, thank you very much, man. Whoops. All right, I need to go back and finish reading your letter here. And I probably want to show the logo for Fur and Flame as well. Look, how cool is that? So, as I said, Fur and Flame. You can contact them, furandflame@gmail.com. Furandflame.bigcartel.com is I think their website. And yeah, retro manga and anime inspired candles, soaps, magnets, and more. Good day, Tony. I'm going to read the whole letter again. Not your usual gift box, but here are a few things that you hopefully like and might find useful, which are a few items that the wife and I are putting out as a side hobby. A couple of scented candles, Batman and Joker melts, soaps in the so the soaps are in the shrink wrap, Batman and Joker and melts, and a couple of fridge magnets of Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain. Also, one figure so that Snake Eyes is no longer a toy orphan. I hope they smell okay, as being around them all day and making them has made me immune to this. They smell very, very good. Anyway, if you and Gracie are ever in Melbourne, you've got free accommodation in the city as we own a unit near Crown Casino. All the best, Andy. And if you do ever go to Melbourne, Andy, I'm taking you and your wife out for dinner at the Crown Casino. We're going to have a few beers. Amazing. I didn't even know this. I'm assuming you picked this figure up in Australia. I have not seen this one available in Australia so far. So Monsters, Dinosaurs and Things says, whoever is selling those candles, if you're on here, let me know. I'll buy some. Monsters, Dinosaurs and Things, I'm going to be posting a few links on our Facebook page after this. Links to Fur and Flame and also to Poppywood Art, an organisation that helps support homeless veterans. Wow, that you're right, Andy. You said not your usual gift box. It certainly isn't, but it's certainly very, very welcome and much appreciated. These things are super cool, and I really hope you get the opportunity to attract some new customers through the live stream. So yeah, everyone's loving it. Everyone's loving it. Well, as usual, guys, I now have a lot to pack up after a live stream. So thank you very much to Andy Culver. Thank you very much. Also to Andrew Timms, a close friend who served with Andy back in his military days. And also thank you to Antonio. It's been a great morning. And yeah, for those of you who didn't see or hear the kind of audio chat with myself and Retro Blasting and Liar Convoy that was on like an hour before this, there's a link to that on the Facebook page. Definitely go and have a listen to that. I'm going to go back and catch up on the end of it. But beyond that, guys, have a great weekend, and you keep being the awesome community that you are, and I'll keep doing these lives. One thing I need to mention before I leave, the patrons are already aware of this, but thank you very much, Timothy Ward, for not only for moderating but also for sharing the link there to that chat. Although there is the intro video, which I wanted to put together an intro video which will be played on all the live streams, and it says, live streams Friday night 6 p.m. It won't be every single Friday. I'm actually transitioning into a new job where you're going to get a live stream 2 weeks in a row, and then 2 weeks without live streams, and then 2 weeks in a row. I'll probably do a live streams other days of the week, but the nature of this new job, I'm going to start working 2 weekends a month. So I don't want to confuse anyone and that they think because of that intro, the live streams are going to be every Friday. They're not. But when they are on a Friday, they're always going to be at 6 p.m. US Eastern Standard Time. Even when your clocks change and I don't, they will still be at 6 p.m. US Eastern Standard Time on a Friday. The regular Analog Toys live stream. So, all right, thank you everyone for tuning in. This has been a great morning, but I really need to go and get a cup of tea because I spent an hour talking on the last stream and been on here for a bit of an hour. And I know I had a cup of tea in between, but I'm feeling parched. So, all right, and I'm going to leave you guys with one question. Who do you think is going to win tomorrow? Dustin Poirier or Conor McGregor? Let's find out in the morning, if you're into UFC, that is. All right, cheers, guys, and I'll see you on the next video or live stream, whatever it happens to be.